YouTube, it's Faye, and it's very cold out today. Ooh, but for today's video, you can probably tell I'm back working on Brandon's 1988 Toyota Supra project, and I'm going to be installing the rear suspension today. So as you can already see behind me, I've got these beautiful Koni yellow sport shocks paired with these H&R lowering springs, and I cannot wait to see the final result because let me tell you, we're going to be going from this to, well, you'll have to wait till the end to see. All right, let's get into it. I feel like I didn't do a good enough job in the first part of this video with the front of really showing the before and after. So we're gonna measure the wheel gap. Obviously there's been some modifications here, but still. All right, so we currently have a wheel gap of about 4.5 inches. So let's see if we can improve upon this. I'm a little bummed because this car is so pure. It's so complete, it's so stock. It's kind of sad to remove the factory temps, but it's not my build, it's Brandon's build, and this is what he wants. And got the wheel off the other side too, because we're gonna be doing both of these at the same time. Now we're gonna tackle the lower suspension bolt, which is a 19mm bolt and nut. So for that, I've got my 19mm wobble socket and a long wrench. And grab my little punch to help send it through here. Yeah, look at that. Interesting. Yeah, someone Loctited this side. Huh. Now, I'm just gonna take my pry bar and get it in between the bottom of the strut and the knuckle. Just give it a little push out. Separate that, and then just gonna pull down on the strut. Easier said than done, I guess. Let's get the pry bar up in there. Are you stuck on? Okay, there we go. It's like right there. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, rears are so much easier than the fronts. Come here. Come here. Oh my God. Now let's release the spring pressure and disassemble this strut assembly. I do like how it has these little, I don't know what you'd call these little lower pieces there, that just hold the spring in place. It's a little extra safety there. Makes me feel kind of good about using this thing. Dang, what's going on there? Woo, looks like some off-roading has been happening. All right, well, we need this little piece, so we'll set that aside. And looks kind of similar to the fronts, where I've got to press this piece off in order to get to the perch. Now, when you purchase these Koni yellows, they're just the inserts. So you swap everything over from the original shock. And I say swap everything. It's just that little plastic piece, little guard, and then this perch piece right here. So in order to do that, I'm gonna have to get this onto the press because this piece up here does not come off very easily. So that's the only reason why I bothered to disassemble this. Obviously, if you've bought a complete strut assembly, not like a separate shock insert like this and then spring, which is fine to do, by the way, it's fine to do. The only reason I don't like purchasing strut assemblies is if I'm doing something other than OE. Obviously, if you're going for the same ride height and the same ride feel and all that sort of stuff, or you just want to go for a cheap, or you don't want to have use a spring compressor or whatever, fine, go full assembly. That's great. I like to be able to choose what I want. And for this, we wanted the Koni Yellow Sport shocks and then the H&R lowering springs. We wanted a certain look and we wanted a certain feel. So when you're able to disassemble a strut assembly, then you have, it's like all options are open to you, right? You can choose so many different the possibilities are endless with your suspension. Okay, so anyway, all right, so let's get this over onto the press. Okay, let's see if we can just do like we did on the fronts and push down on this. See if it even wants to pop back up. Oh, a little bit. Okay, yeah. There we go. Beautiful. So now we just have to press this part off. Sick. So now it's easy to just pull this piece off, and that's what we're looking for. Now I'm going to clean that up check that out. I cleaned up the little perch there, and then I also cleaned up this little plastic piece. So, all right, let's get to reassembling this strut assembly. So if you watch part 1 of this video series where I did the fronts on this car, and I set up this tool and just gave my first impressions and thoughts of it, but you know, like I said, I'm gonna do a full like actual review later once I've actually used the tool for more than one set of struts. But I did have an initial thought that I did not like this tool for one reason, and it was because these little metal arms were digging into and actually ruined some of the paint on the Koni yellow strut insert, which is like, it's just so nice. Like, why damage the paint? Like, it's brand new. I want it to look really nice when it goes in the car. So I tried something out here. These little rubber things, these actually go on the top of jack stands. I just got them on Amazon, and they had a similar shape and they had a similar cutout width here. And it looks like they're gonna work great. So we'll see. We're just gonna do a little test run here. They're also pretty cheap. I'll link them in the description of this video in case you end up doing this tool and want something similar. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool because it's got a lip on the top and the bottom, so it's not going to go anywhere. And hopefully it's not going to go anywhere. We'll see. And it's also going to protect the paint here on the shock body. So all right, let's get to work. So now we got this little guy, and then this thing, and our spring. Still not impressed with these strut tops. So unlike the front set, the rear set do come with new rubbers in there. Riddle me that one. I do not know why that is. You can also see here that there's that little flat spot that I'm going to line up with the flat spot right here. There we go. Now we're seeing some threads in there. And 19mm socket, I think. Yep, okay. Tighten that down by hand first. Ooh, let's take off these little guys. I hope I lined everyone up correctly, and I hope I can get this out. Okay, yeah. No problems. No problems. Amazing. So hopefully we're going to be able to put them in the same way we took them back out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No problems. No problems. I love that. The trick is just lining up these holes up top. I think I got it. All right, I'm going to put the nuts on and get that tightened up so it doesn't keep on falling back down, and then I'm going to line up the bottom. They come with new hardware, so we'll use this, and I'm just going to hand tighten them for now, and then once I get everyone back on the ground, I will actually torque these to specification. There we go. We're not going crazy tight, we just don't want it to fall back out right now. All right, I'm going to hold down the pry bar with my armpit. Sometimes you just need the person, but okay, no, making it happen. Making it happen. There we go. This we torque all the way with the suspension fully loaded. So the weight, wheels on, weight of the vehicle on the wheels. So for now, we're just gonna hand tighten that. Just put a teeny little wrench action on it. Nothing crazy. Sheesh, that looks good. All right, let's get the other side done. Look at all the dirt on the shock. It's like, did it just emerge from the swamp? Was this, like with all the dirt on this thing? Like, was this buried in someone's backyard, or has it been through a flood, or what? And actually, for funsies, let's just see. Yeah, that's good, right? And I suppose this time I'll just show you cleaning it up a little bit, but I was a little embarrassed by the messiness of my workbench. I just haven't had time to clean it, you guys, all right? I've been too busy. All right, end result of these two. Look, wow. Okay. Until I showed you the inside and the underside, I was gonna say, they look like new, don't they? Oh, all right, let's get this thing assembled. Let's get this installed. And once again, we're not gonna tighten this all the way because we're gonna torque it with the suspension fully loaded. So that means next thing we're gonna do is get the wheels on and get the car down on the ground, or like on its, not the ground, but on the lift, whatever, you know what I mean. And then I'm gonna torque the wheels, obviously, torque these lower bolts, torque the 3 upper nuts, and then we can actually see what this thing looks like. I'm really stoked. Problem is, I currently cannot get the car off the lift because the air compressor is turned off. That's a problem with being a renter. Okay, that's a problem with being a renter. Yeah, car stuck on the lift, but that's okay. That's right. We can still get the wheels on. So we'll get the wheels on real quick. Now we're going to torque these top nuts to 10 foot-pounds. Also, now the vehicle is sitting on its actual wheels, the way the vehicle is on the wheels, we're just going to bounce the suspension up and down before I can torque those two lower bolts. And to assist me in bouncing the vehicle up and down, we have Brandon. Go for it, Brandon. Amazing. Much better than I could do. I'm now going to put the vehicle back up in the air, and I'm going to torque this lower bolt and nut to 101 foot-pounds. And I just realized this is Brandon's first time seeing the rear suspension at its final resting spot. And you know what I was actually thinking? Originally, Brandon and I were talking about potentially putting some wheel spacers on, because there are, so H&R that makes the springs that we got going on in there also offer some spacers. Let me see. See, this came in the box of springs. I love that. And I was thinking, I was like, man, I mean, see, if he wasn't to put any sort of fender flares or the over fenders on, it would be a perfect fitment. I mean, he chose perfect wheels, but then he just decided to take it to the next level. I mean, even the fronts, look at this. Look at how perfect those are in terms of poke. It's like just barely past, but not too much, which I think is very tasteful. Here we go. Yeah, it's looking like they're going to have to be pushed out just a little bit. So we're going to have to take some measurements, find some track plus.
There's definitely some trimming that has to happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we might have to go lower. I mean, it all depends. It's up to you. Oh yeah, let's see the front. Yep, and it's obviously going to be sitting lower, but we'll have to put some spacers on there. All right, well, this is a project for another time. Oh, see, honey? Wider is better. Alrighty, and now it's time for our final measurement. Let's see, what a difference did it make? And also, I just want to obviously take a measure, because this is not factory. This is not the factory wheel gap, because we've got some modifications going on. So we are now at about a 3-inch gap there. So just subtracting the beginning measurement from the end measurement, we're actually right on par with the amount of drop that it's supposed to give with these springs. So sick. I'm really, really satisfied with how this looks, and I cannot wait to see the final result with the over fenders and a little bit more wheel poke. It's gonna look really nice. As Brandon says, he goes, it actually looks like a Supra now. I think it's true, because before it was sitting so high, it just looked so different from mine, and he's used to seeing mine every single day. So I noticed the difference, especially in the front. It just changed the way that the face of the car looked. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. This part 2 of the suspension install with the final result. And hopefully, things are moving along at the machine shop. So we should be getting the block back pretty soon, and then we can actually start with building the dang engine, and that would be really freaking sick. So stay tuned. This is a very realistic build, though. This is a very realistic build. We are real people. We've got real lives. We got a lot of other things going on, a lot of other projects, and it's very, very hard to find time to bring a car that does not run into the shop. It's not easy. It's not easy. I gotta find Brandon. We gotta get the winch out. We gotta get a battery charge and move things around. And I got a slope. I got a big slant in the driveway out there. So we're always pushing these things uphill, which is why I kind of need the winch. So, and you know, we got real budgets. So every now and then it just takes us a while to save up for the next best thing that we got to do to this car. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one, which is probably gonna be about the Celine. So, all right, here we go. Thanks, guys. Bye.